So today, listeners, we are going to talk about the power of intensive group treatment for selective mutism and why it works. It's really, really timely. Yeah, so we have an intensive group treatment. We call it an intensive group treatment and parent education program because camp is just as much for parents as it is for kids. And we have 3 this summer. So it's really timely, and of course, multiple ones throughout the year. But we're very passionate about the intensive group treatment. It really is a almost springboard. Whether you're in treatment or you are starting treatment, it's a springboard. It really propels kids and teens further. I would like to mention that there are many intensive group treatments out there. So our suggestion is to research the different programs. If you're interested in an intensive group treatment, research the different programs, call them, ask them questions, and see what fits right for your child or teen, because it's very, very important. A lot of the camps have different personalities, they have different requirements to get into the camps, and it's just a different setup. And so it's really important that families feel very comfortable with where they choose to go. But can't emphasize it enough. You're so actively involved in CommuniCamp. You've been involved since we started the Family Fun Day when you were like a teenager.
Yeah. I've been doing it for a while. Well, I started as one of the head counselors at CommuniCamp. We started CommuniCamp, I believe, in like 2017. So it's been almost 10 years. And so I started as a head counselor, and then now I'm doing a lot of the parent training, and I supervise all the, incredible clinicians that are our counselors at the camp. So it's been definitely a fun journey, kind of seeing both sides of it. So I feel like a lot of times in the parent training, I'll talk about the types of strategies and activities that the kids are doing in the groups, which is, and kids and teens in the groups. So it's been, it's been really fun.
Yeah, no, it's been wonderful watching you kind of grow into this program and helping us really modify it. It's been wonderful with almost 10 years of CommuniCamp. I think it's 9 full years, but having, anywhere from 4 to 8 a year, depending when we first started. We've had so many camps, and it's been just such a rewarding experience. It's funny when camp starts, I always say you can hear a pin drop in the room, in the parent education room. Like, you hear a pin drop. And the reason is that these parents, although we do the Friday night get together to help build comfort, because comfort precedes communication, and so does connection and confidence, but it's really neat. And we explain that one of the reasons it's so quiet in the parent education room is that they don't know each other. And so it's really interesting that so many important concepts throughout the weekend are discussed with the parents for them to relate. So it's interesting. I got this question once, because one of the things that does set us apart is the 15 hours of parent education and support. And I had a parent recently say, well, I've read everything there is on the internet. I feel like I've read every book. I've been in treatment. Why do I need to go to parent education? And I want to start with that because I think it's really important that these intensive group treatments are about the parents. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the programs, they all have some sort of parent education. But for me and you and for our team, I really believe that the parents are without a doubt, the most instrumental aspect to progress for their children.
Yeah.
Want to touch on that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that parents in general, like you said, no matter what type of treatment we do, it's really important. And surprisingly, I feel like it's just as important, if not more important, as kids actually get older, because the more a child ages, like as they enter like teen years or even young adult years, they're so dependent on their parents. Our population is very dependent because as a parent, you're their safe person. You're their person that they're really guiding, and they're really looking to for most of their life. So I think that it's really important that you're part of that process. And I would say that a lot of the families where they're implementing the parent goals in addition to obviously the child or teen goals, they make such a world of a difference. The implementation is so important because it's how we change our ways and how we model that changes how our child then kind of navigates the world. So I have so many parents where as they learn our different strategies, right, whether that's like our SM triangle, where we think about us approaching a third person and the parent helping bring the child in, whether it's them learning how to prepare with visuals, choices, how to implement maybe our action plans, thinking about common questions. There's so many different strategies that we talk about, but I think that it's really important because I find that even when I'm working in, with a lot of parents, so if we're not licensed in your state or you're international, we can do parent coaching and training. And so many times we'll continue to implement strategies and help guide families from really all over the world. And there's families that I work with where I'm not really seeing the child if I'm doing more parent training, but they make significant progress based on how the parents change and adapt their ways. And so it's such a rewarding experience, one, to see the child and team make a lot of progress in the group treatment, but also to really see how the parents kind of adapt throughout the weekend. And I feel like it's just, yeah, it's always like an emotional experience because you see kind of the gratitude and enjoyment that I feel like the parents kind of get to, but also how we feel, when kind of seeing how they change those ways and how the success becomes, more observant. So I definitely think, again, the parent piece is so important.
And it's important because it's not just what is the bridge. Yeah, you can read about what the bridge is. You can read about whys and what whys your child may have. It's about the conceptualization and putting it all together. It's like if you want to build a beautiful home, you need different pieces of like the architect and all the different contractors and putting it together. Like, we're those people for you. We're helping you put it together and teach you how to do different things so that when you leave camp from day to day or when you go home, you have so many skills. So it's not just, oh, I know how to ask a forced choice question. It's conceptualizing it, knowing when, how, where, and with who, and how do you individualize those goals for your child and how is it different. And one of the most rewarding parts about camp is the connections these parents make. And so, like I said, comfort, connection, confidence, of course, overriding with compassion, right? Fuels communication. I can't emphasize that enough. And when those pieces are missing, all of those C's, those comfort, connection, the compassion piece, the confidence piece, communication is going to be limited. So we are helping parents gain all those skills themselves so that it makes sense. It's like if you understand that having a connection helps you feel more comfortable, then that makes sense that why your child isn't walking into class and talking the first day, even though maybe they ended a little bit more verbal, or you go to a play date and the father's there or mother that the child doesn't know and the child bridges down. Like, we help you you begin to conceptualize what's working, what's not working, what worked from day to day. And parents learn so much. And again, I'm sure this isn't a lot of the other programs. We just are talking about intensive group treatment and parent education from a CommuniCamp standpoint, because this is what we do. But what I was going to say is they learn from each other. So the support aspect to these programs is so critical, not just for the parents, but for the children too. So they are learning and they're practicing and role playing and laughing and sharing, and some tears come. And it's a beautiful experience. So I want our families to feel empowered. And that's how we want it. That's how we do it, through the parent education and support program. So that should be an important part of your camp experience so that you have the confidence to leave with a lot of skills. And get this one, how you change your views, parents, how when you have hope and belief, it amazingly projects onto your children. And we see that from day to day to day.
Yeah.
And we teach parents how to talk to their child. One thing we do say at camp, which I think is important for our listeners because they can implement this at any time, is helping your children understand that you get it. Not you need to and you should. Like, you need to talk before this time, or you're trying to get into that, athletic program and you need to talk, or if you don't talk, the kids won't know you. And so there's a lot of, come on, if you talk, you'll get this reward, without really understanding what is going on underneath. That is, again, look, listen, and learn. One of our last episodes, episode 77, amazing episode to me. I love all our episodes, but it's about look, listening, and learning. And so our kids teach us everything about how they feel, what's going on with them, and we need to listen. And so we teach parents so much of this. So how to talk to your child. And we have parents that will say, after day one, they said to their child, gosh, I'm learning so many neat things. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize that. And I realized why that might be hard for you. And it's amazing how children and teens change their ways and
Yeah.
they start to trust more.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, like I said, I think the more parents are changing their ways, the more that we model that for our kids, the more success they see. And I also think that it's important to emphasize we talk a lot about these contributing factors, these whys of selective mutism, and so many of our population have sensory sensitivities. And so they're very sensitive, they're very observant and perceptive, more than a typical individual. So I think because of that, we don't realize how much they're observing and they're really perceiving their surroundings, so they see those nuanced differences of how the parents shift those expectations tremendously. So it is very, very important.